After my archenemy's family went bankrupt, she was reduced to working as a bar hostess. I rushed over just to mock her and lightly patted her cheek with a wad of cash. Give me a provocative dance, and this money is yours. But she refused to cooperate, so the manager gave her a brutal beating. Late that night, bruised from head to toe, she knocked on my door. Out of kindness, I tossed her a bottle of medicine. But who knew my archenemy would actually undo her buttons and sway in an outrageously seductive dance until she pinned me to the bed and said, "Have you seen enough? If not, I can show you something even more suggestive." Only then did I realize I wasn't exactly against it. Ryan's family had gone bankrupt. When my buddy told me the news, I immediately bought a ticket and flew back home. The moment I thought about what he said, that Ryan had been reduced to working as a bar hostess, I couldn't stop myself from bursting into laughter. As her archenemy, how could I pass up the chance to kick her while she was down? As soon as the plane landed, I went straight to the bar. The news of Ryan's bankruptcy wasn't confirmed, but rumors had been flying lately. According to my buddy, Ryan had suddenly sold all her beloved luxury and racing cars. People had also often seen her performing for tips at a certain bar. Oh, she even sold her cars. Judging from all that, it was almost certainly true. In the car, I kept urging the driver to hurry. The driver joked and asked, "You seem awfully eager to get to the bar. Don't tell me you're going there to catch someone cheating." I smiled faintly. No, I'm going to hire some hostesses. When I reached the bar, the moment I stepped inside, I saw Ryan singing and dancing energetically on stage. She was dressed provocatively, moving to the rhythm of the music. That flash of cleavage, those defined abs. If I didn't record a video now, when would I? Well, Ryan, so you're a prude after all. You used to button your clothes all the way up to your neck, and now you dared to appear before everyone in such revealing clothes. After enjoying Ryan's performance, I found a random place to sit and ordered a drink. Ryan reappeared in a different outfit. She glanced up and noticed me, looking somewhat surprised, but quickly pretended not to see me and walked away. But I wasn't about to let her off the hook. I stepped in front of her and teased, "Ryan, I heard your family went bankrupt. Being broke must feel awful." The proud heiress of the Liu family, reduced to working as a bar hostess. How does it feel? Multicolored lights flashed around us. I couldn't make out the expression on Ryan's face, but I could feel her gaze fixed on me. "You shouldn't be here." She grabbed my hand and tried to pull me outside, but I stubbornly refused to leave and continued taunting her. "This is just your pride talking. You don't want me to see you in such a miserable state." "Oh, come on, there is no shame in honest work. It's only hostess work. What are you afraid of?" Ryan's voice turned cold. Seeing that, I almost laughed. The great Miss Liu was losing face and starting to panic. I wanted to see her furious yet powerless, but the lights were flashing far too much, which was brutal for someone who had traveled all the way home without sleeping. I lowered my head and rubbed my aching, gritty eyes. Beside me, Ryan spoke with uncharacteristic nervousness. "I mean, this place is full of shady people. A good boy like you shouldn't be here." I stared at her in shock. Was she worried about me? Number. She must have been using it as an excuse to criticize me. I looked up and met Ryan's helpless expression, then grinned. "I endured a flight of more than a dozen hours to come all the way back. Wasn't it all to come here and see you?" Ryan froze, while I gave her a cheeky smile. "Otherwise, how could I properly make fun of you, Miss Liu?" Ryan's face instantly darkened. I picked up the cash I had prepared earlier and slapped it against her face. Then I leaned close and said, "Give me a provocative dance, and this money is yours." Ha 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 ha. As I spoke, I moved even closer and showed her a video of a hostess writhing through a suggestive dance. Ryan's gaze became impossible to read. "So this is the kind of woman you like?" I didn't like hearing that. "What do you mean? This kind? You make it sound as if I have terrible taste. I simply like defined abs. What's wrong with that?" As I spoke, I reached out and tugged at her clothes. "Less talking. Since you've been reduced to working as a hostess, you have to listen to the customers. Take it off. Now, give me a suggestive dance." Ryan angrily stopped me. "King Yu, what do you take me for?" I blinked. What kind of question was that? What else would I take her for besides my archenemy? After all, ever since we were children, she had never once yielded to me, always going against me, and constantly finding new ways to make me angry. Was she supposed to be my best friend? Then it hit me. "Wait, I also took you for a hostess." Ryan seemed furious. She gave me a deep, meaningful look, then turned and strode away on her long legs. Seriously, she wouldn't even take easy money. I guess she wasn't desperate enough. If you don't want this money, there are plenty who do. Ryan's exposed skin had piqued my interest. With a grand wave of my hand, I hired 10 hostesses. Seeing how generously I spent, the other women eagerly crowded around. They were certainly eager to make money. "Handsome, kind, and generous. Would you buy a little more wine to support me?" "Handsome, your skin is so smooth. It's so soft and supple." "Handsome, did you just return from abroad? You must be exhausted. Let me massage your shoulders. I'll massage your legs." "Me too. Me too. Handsome. I'm an excellent dancer. I'll dance for you. They say beauty is dangerous for a reason. Under their barrage of flattery, I simply couldn't resist. Bye. Bye. Take good care of me, and your tips will be generous. With women on both arms, I was having the time of my life. Unfortunately, that pleasure didn't last long. Liu Ryan's arrival shattered the merriment. She smashed the wine glass from one hostess's hand onto the floor and stared at me in silence. I had to admit, Liu Ryan was exceptionally good at getting on my nerves. With all our old and new grudges combined, I was so furious I laughed. Liu Ryan, stop acting self-righteous while shamelessly having it both ways. Liu Ryan said nothing. She stepped forward, seized my wrist, and tried to drag me away. The hostess whose glass had been smashed stepped forward to stop her. Girl, stealing someone's customer isn't very nice. The others chimed in. Yeah, you don't want to serve the customer yourself, so don't stop us from making money. Can't you see the customer doesn't want to leave with you? Why force him? I watched Liu Ryan with interest. Everyone knew Miss Liu was precious and untouchable, and valued her pride above all else. Yet she merely gave them a cold look and fell silent. I found it rather surprising, because she looked like a fallen queen being bullied by strays, and my anger inexplicably ebbed. Liu Ryan looked at me. The people here have sticky fingers. Take my advice. Leave this place. Before I could even react, the hostesses became displeased. Seeing a confrontation about to break out, I stepped in and spent some money to send the hostesses away. They took the money, offered me a few flattering words with bright smiles, and left. Only the woman whose glass had been smashed gave Liu Ryan a deep look before reluctantly leaving. What a shame. She had such good massage skills, and I barely got to enjoy them. Hearing my mutter, Liu Ryan's expression shifted several times. What a shame. King Yu, I haven't seen you for months. How did you become so shallow? Annoyed, I replied. What the hell does it have to do with you? You ruined my good time and cost me a fair amount of money. Though I didn't care about the money, it was a perfect excuse to teach Liu Ryan a lesson. I lifted her chin and reached toward her cleavage. I am shallow, so give me a full provocative dance as compensation. How about it? The sensation beneath my hand was exquisite. Unable to resist, I gave her a secret squeeze. Liu Ryan reacted as though I had flipped a switch and let out a muffled groan. The tips of her ears turned crimson. My heart began to race. I was about to try again, but before I could make another move, Liu Ryan seized my wrist and said in a low, hoarse voice, I never expected you to become like this. An inexplicable fury rose inside me. She said it as if she knew me so well. I shoved her. What I've become is none of your business. You've ruined my fun time, and again, if you don't want to serve me, then fine. I'll complain to the manager. After that, I ignored Liu Ryan, found the manager, and lodged a complaint. Then I shot Liu Ryan, who stood nearby, a vicious glare, and left. On the way home, I complained to my buddy about what had happened. Only then did I realize how grim the manager's expression had been. He had seemed quite angry. I asked my buddy, Liu Ryan should be alright, shouldn't she? My buddy answered quickly, don't worry. At most, he'll give her a scolding. Nothing will happen to her. That put my mind at ease. It would be best if the manager really tore into Liu Ryan and humbled her. Then we'd see if she still dared talk back to me. Finally, my buddy asked whether I planned to go abroad again after coming back. When my eyes fell on that question, my thoughts returned to 2 months earlier. Speaking of why I went abroad, it had everything to do with Liu Ryan. Our relationship had never been particularly bad, but it had never been especially good either. I considered us sworn enemies. But my buddy said the way we interacted was more like a bickering pair of lovers. Though I strongly disagreed. Liu Ryan and I had known each other since elementary school. Over all these years, whatever I liked, she would compete with me for. We had been fighting and brawling right up to today. Yet we had still managed to remain civil on the surface. But 2 months ago, during a game of truth or dare, something she said during truth made me absolutely furious. At the time, Liu Ryan was asked what she thought of love letters written by secret admirers. You had to admit, Liu Ryan was beautiful and came from a wealthy family. Since middle school, boys had been falling for her one after another. Everyone wanted to know how she felt about it, and I was no exception. That was until I saw her beautiful face wear an unmistakable look of disgust for the first time. Liu Ryan twisted her lips. The thing I hate most is receiving love letters. In that instant, my thoughts spiraled. Hurt, resentment, and anger consumed my mind. I slammed my hand on the table in fury. You're trampling on other people's feelings for you. Liu Ryan let out a cold laugh and said, is that so? The way you put it, if someone likes me, does that mean I have to like her back later? Because of this, Liu Ryan and I had a huge fight. The next day, I flew abroad in a fit of anger. My buddies and friends had no idea what was going on, and kept asking how things had escalated this far. But none of them knew that I had written Liu Ruyan a love letter in high school. That was the real reason I was so angry and left the country. Liu Ruyan must have seen my letter. Those words must have been aimed at me. My feelings had disgusted her. During my first few days abroad, I was miserable, but after my father talked some sense into me, I came to terms with it. Someone as exceptional as Liu Ruyan. It was only natural for a teenager's heart to stir. What I loved most was her bold, spirited youthfulness. So it was perfectly normal for me to have a crush on her. It was just that the love letter I had written was like a pebble sinking into the vast ocean without a single echo. I never expected it to come up again, only to see that look of disgust on Liu Ruyan's face. Forget it. I was young and foolish and had fallen for the wrong person. I answered my buddy, I'm not leaving again. Look on the bright side. Liu Ruyan has fallen this far, so I should seize this chance to humiliate her properly. Don't you think? My buddy was silent for a while. All I can say is, good luck. When I got home, I enjoyed a relaxing bath. While I was bathing, I came across plenty of revealing photos posted by beautiful women and handsome men. Inevitably, I thought of Liu Ruyan again. Come to think of it, at the bar, I had only touched her thigh. I wondered what the rest of her felt like. After letting my thoughts wander, I shook my head. Stop it. I don't care about seeing her exposed skin. The more I tried not to think about Liu Ruyan, the more she seemed determined to appear right in front of me. And sure enough, just as I finished bathing and was about to sleep, I heard the doorbell ring. When I opened the door, Liu Ruyan stood alone outside my home. Both the corners of her mouth and eyes were bruised purple, leaving her looking utterly wretched. King Yu, I was wrong. Please don't be angry. Tell me, what were you wrong about? I let Liu Ruyan inside and pretended that if she couldn't give me an answer I liked, I would throw her out. Liu Ruyan looked as if she had already been taught a lesson. She lowered her head. I shouldn't have made you angry. That's all. I shouldn't have smashed that hostess's wine glass. I was about to nod when she spoke again, but I don't think I was wrong about that. Damn, this girl's apology was seriously lacking. Seeing that I was about to get angry again, Liu Ruyan hurried to explain. I saw her drug your drink with my own eyes. I was about to explode, but her words caught in my throat. I blinked awkwardly. So, you were protecting me. Liu Ruyan gave me a deep look, then slowly nodded. So, I had wrongfully blamed her. I felt a little embarrassed, but stubbornly said, then why didn't you tell me at the time? That was your fault. My fault. Unexpectedly, Liu Ruyan actually admitted it. She added that, besides that, I should also fulfill your demands. As she said this, I couldn't see a trace of reluctance on her face. Looks like the manager's methods were pretty effective. Fine. Since you've admitted your mistake and changed, I forgive you. Saying that, I softened and took out the ointment I prepared earlier and tossed it to Liu Ruyan. Put it on. She caught it, but then did something that took me by surprise. Liu Ruyan actually took off her jacket and began swaying provocatively in front of me. Good lord, who taught her to dance so seductively? I told her to apply the ointment, not perform a provocative dance. I was stunned by the sight. I didn't even notice when Liu Ruyan came to my side. Her bewitching dance was all I could think about. No one had told me that she could be so mesmerizing when she danced. Liu Ruyan took my hand and pressed it against her cleavage. I couldn't satisfy your demands at the bar, so I'm making it up to you now. I swallowed hard. I was practically about to spray blood everywhere. You little temptress. She was a complete temptress. Liu Ruyan's head dipped lower and lower in my field of vision. That face, which had once driven me wild, grew larger before my eyes. Was she about to kiss me? I instinctively closed my eyes, feeling a faint breath of warmth against my cheek, when a soft laugh suddenly sounded beside my ear. King Yu, your nose is bleeding. At that, I wanted to disappear on the spot. My face turned as red as a boiled shrimp. I instinctively wiped it, only to find nothing there. Liu Ruyan, you lied to me. My nose wasn't bleeding at all. Liu Ruyan curved her lips into a smile. But you are blushing. And whose fault is that? I angrily gave her a shove, but she staggered and lost her balance, dragging me down onto the sofa with her. I landed on top of Liu Ruyan and heard her grunt in pain as everything spun around us. Liu Ruyan swiftly reversed our positions, pinning me beneath her. Liu Ruyan panted heavily. Didn't you want to watch me perform a provocative dance? Was that enough? If it wasn't, I can make it even more provocative. I froze for a moment, then quickly realized she was only trying to scare me again. She wanted to see me make that mortified expression again. I wasn't going to fall for the same trick twice. With that thought, I smirked. Sure, then show me what you've got. Hearing that, Liu Ruyan was the one left stunned. She tried to get off me, but I used brute strength to roll us over and pinned her beneath me. Didn't you say you had something even more provocative? Why are you running away? Come on, give me a show. Hearing me say that, Liu Ruyan's face instantly flushed. She didn't dare meet my eyes and could only whisper, King Yu, don't do this. Seeing her shy, bashful expression. I grew excited because she looked so tempting that I wanted to torment her. In an instant, I thought of a way to humiliate Liu Ruyan. I would sleep with her, then leave some money the next morning and walk away. Liu Ruyan was so proud that she would completely lose it, so I acted on the impulse, and emboldened by the alcohol, kissed her. Liu Ruyan's body stiffened for a moment, but she soon turned from passive to active. When the kiss ended, we were both swept up in desire. The moment her hand began to caress me, I heard the restraint in her voice. Qing, you were the one who provoked me first. Don't regret it. The next day, the moment I opened my eyes, I saw Liu Ruyan, but soon felt sore all over, as if my body were falling apart. As my memories returned, I realized that I'd slept with Liu Ruyan the night before, while I was drunk. No less. Looking at the woman sleeping peacefully beside me, I was so angry I wanted to kick her out of bed. But after thinking it over, I accepted reality. When all was said and done, it was because I still had feelings for Liu Ruyan. That was why last night's events had happened. Forget it. I'd stick to the plan. But I had underestimated my ability to take action. By the time I woke again, the sun was already high. Hearing sounds coming from the kitchen, I wondered whether I could still leave some money and walk away now. I pulled the covers back over myself, feeling a little dejected. Things seemed to have gone beyond what I'd expected. Before long, Liu Ruyan knocked on the door. Get up and wash up. Breakfast will be ready soon. I called back. After washing up and going out, I wondered if I was still dreaming. The woman in the kitchen, wearing a teddy bear apron, was actually Liu Ruyan. In my memories, Liu Ruyan had once cooked for me like this. That was back in my first year of high school. My grades weren't as good as other people's, and the academic pressure was intense. So I focused all my attention on studying and neglected my meals. Over time, I developed stomach problems. Liu Ruyan and I were still quite close back then. Every day after school, she ran to my house to cook for me. Even my father, a disaster in the kitchen, benefited from it. Her slender, graceful figure in the kitchen had remained buried deep in my memory and gradually merged with the figure before me. Even after all these years, she could still stir my heart. Why are you spacing out instead of eating? Didn't you get enough of looking last night? Her words instantly made my face burn. Embarrassed and angry, I growled, Eat. After saying that, I didn't dare say another word and lowered my head to eat in silence. Halfway through the meal, I realized that every dish on the table was one of my favorites. Suddenly, I couldn't quite see through Liu Ruyan. After we finished eating, I stopped Liu Ruyan as she went to wash the dishes. I think we need to talk about what happened last night. Seeing my serious expression, Liu Ruyan immediately put on a pitiful look. I don't blame you for last night. We were both at fault. But Qing, last night was my first time. You have to take responsibility from me. I felt a little annoyed at that. The way she said it made it sound as if I weren't a first timer too. I hadn't even said anything, yet she acted as though I'd had my way with her and was about to abandon her. Was this really the same domineering Liu Ruyan as before? How had getting into bed made her seem like a completely different person? Could she really be this old-fashioned as to choose one man after her first time? But I had to admit, her reaction awakened a wicked little pleasure in me. My heart stirred. You said it yourself. Fine, I'll take responsibility for you. From now on, you'll do whatever I say. Understood. After Liu Ruyan agreed, I smiled in satisfaction, watching her back as she washed the dishes. I gradually fell into thought. I didn't know how long things between us could last, but selfishly, I still wanted her for myself. At least once. As for what came after that, I'd deal with it when the time came. After that, Liu Ruyan moved into my own. She turned into my own magical housekeeper and became my living gopher. Unexpectedly, our lives fit together quite well. Of course, we still bickered from time to time, but Liu Ruyan was usually the first to give in. She would look at me with helpless resignation. The emotions in her eyes were something I could never quite read. When my buddy learned that I'd won Liu Ruyan over, he gave me several enthusiastic thumbs-ups. When it comes to pulling this off, you're the man. I grinned proudly. Of course, I told you when I came back, I was going to humiliate Liu Ruyan properly and get revenge for what happened before. As soon as I finished speaking, my buddy looked utterly speechless. Your way of humiliating her is having her personally cook your meals and drive you to and from work. That's not humiliation. You're rewarding her. Hearing that, I was a little confused as to why my buddy thought I was rewarding Liu Ruyan. But then I thought about it and understood. Liu Ruyan's work at the bar must have been exhausting. While here, she only had to do these few things. That must be why my buddy called it a reward. After hearing my explanation, my buddy rolled his eyes. There's a reason you've been single all this time. When our friends heard about it, their reactions were remarkably consistent. You two bickering lovebirds are finally together. Congratulations. We hope to get wedding candy from you soon. What the hell? Are you kidding me? Even after I explained that we weren't actually together, they gave me looks that said, stop explaining. We get it. I gave up explaining. The more I explained, the worse it sounded. When I got home, I collapsed onto the sofa and couldn't resist giving Liu Ryan beside me a kick. These past few days, she had taken excellent care of me. It felt like I was back in high school, when she had cared for me so attentively. Liu Ryan had been kicked for no reason, but she wasn't angry. What's wrong? Who made you angry this time? Meeting her questioning gaze, I asked. Liu Ryan, your family went bankrupt. Have you thought about what you'll do from now on? Qing, are you going to abandon me? I didn't understand her reaction. What does your future have to do with that? Liu Ryan frowned. I don't have a penny to my name. I'll have to rely on you to support me. Have you started keeping another dog on the side? Is that why you want to abandon me? I was speechless. This woman's imagination was wild. Liu Ryan, stop being ridiculous. Then promise you'll support me from now on and never abandon me. Her words left me at a loss for words. The promise was too heavy. I didn't dare make it, so I avoided Liu Ryan's burning gaze. After a long silence, Liu Ryan sighed. That night, she gave me a brutal lesson, leaving me too exhausted to move. After she fell asleep, she held me and murmured in her sleep, Qing, it's so good that you're still here. By the light of the moon, I traced the contours of her face. This was the unrequited love I'd kept buried deep in my heart. My recklessness back then had taught me a lesson. I didn't dare reveal my feelings again. Our time together had completely captivated me. But one question continued to haunt me. Liu Ryan, did you choose me because you had nowhere else to turn and no other choice but to be with me? But soon, someone's arrival made that question seem unimportant, because the man Liu Ryan had always loved deep down, Boxiao, had returned from abroad. The moment I saw him, I knew the days I'd stolen with her were coming to an end. Dressed entirely in black, Boxiao appeared at our high school reunion. After greeting our classmates, he looked around with a clear target in mind and headed straight for Liu Ryan. Ryan, long time no see. Aren't you happy to see me back? Long time no see. Although Liu Ryan said nothing, I was sitting beside her and could clearly feel her body tense up, as if she were holding something back. Seeing his dream love appear, he must be happy, right? Boxiao ignored me and carried on talking to Liu Ryan as though I wasn't there. The expressions of our classmates kept drifting toward my face. I pretended to be perfectly at ease and continued the conversation with my buddy. Under the table, my buddy patted me, signaling with his eyes for me to hang in there. Ryan, I need to talk to you. Would you come outside with me for a moment? Everyone gasped. Everyone there knew that Boxiao and I have fallen out. He was deliberately slapping me in the face. Before Liu Ryan could respond, I spoke up at once. Liu Ryan, I forbid you to go outside. But I'd overestimated my influence. Liu Ryan glanced at me and tousled my hair. I'll be right back. Hearing that, Boxiao was like a victorious white swan. As he strutted out arrogantly, Liu Ryan followed close behind. I didn't try to stop her again. I should have known. With Boxiao around, how could Liu Ryan possibly choose me? Boxiao had done it deliberately. Even after all these years, he was still such a bastard. Speaking of Boxiao, everyone at the table knew him. He transferred into our class during our second year of high school. With his excellent grades and handsome looks, he quickly became friends with everyone. At first, I was fooled by his fake kindness too, and he became my second closest friend after my buddy. Gradually, through my introduction, he became friends with my buddy and Liu Ryan. But then something happened that revealed his hypocritical nature. He enjoyed all the advantages I gave him, then turned around and embellished the story, telling others that I used my money to humiliate him. It made me furious. I used to buy an extra one of everything for him because I regarded him as a close friend. Yet he turned around and ruined my reputation. When I told Liu Ryan about it, could there have been some misunderstanding? Boxiao isn't really that kind of person, is he? Because of this, Liu Ryan and I had a terrible falling out. Starting in the second semester of our second year, we were locked in a cold war. It wasn't until Boxiao later transferred away that I learned Liu Ryan had fallen for Boxiao long ago. No wonder she stopped believing me. Liu Ryan had said she'd be right back, but she still hadn't returned by the end of the gathering. It was getting too late, so the class monitor had to call an end to the evening. My buddy and I had just walked outside when we saw Boxiao and Liu Ryan standing at the entrance. I turned around and walked away the moment I saw them. My buddy hurried after me. Liu Ryan isn't that kind of person. Boxiao must be behind this again. It doesn't matter. We aren't actually together anyway. Liu Ryan can be with whoever she wants. There are plenty of beautiful women in the world. What's so special about Liu Ryan? Come on, I'll take you to a bar and hire some female models. My buddy looked like he wanted to say something, but stopped, but could only come along with me. We partied at the bar until well past midnight. I drank quite a lot while my buddy was cycling me home. He wasn't paying attention and hit a roadside post. Just as we were at a loss, a car pulled over nearby. A familiar figure stepped out. Need a hand, old classmate. After dropping my buddy off, Yaoi drove me to my house instead. She was my high school classmate. On the way, she explained that when she rushed back, she had already missed the reunion. I heard you and Liu Ryan are together. Why isn't she with you? Could you not mention her? Then I won't ask. You've had quite a bit to drink. Get some sleep. I'll wake you when we arrive. I closed my eyes and held back the nausea, curled up in the seat and fell asleep. I had no idea how long we'd been driving. Yao Wei opened the door and woke me. We're here. Thanks. I'll buy you dinner sometime. But just after I stepped out, a wave of dizziness made me lose my balance. Yao Wei quickly caught me, just as I was about to thank her again. Liu Ryan's voice rang out from nearby. King Yu, where have you been? I didn't want to answer, so I pretended not to see her. After arranging our next meeting with Yao Wei, I entered the gate alone. Liu Ryan stared intently at Yao Wei for quite a while, then followed me inside. Back home, she seemed very unhappy. How did you end up with Yao Wei? You reek of alcohol. Did you go drinking with her? Liu Ryan, aren't you done? Starting tomorrow, move out. Why? Is it because of you, Yao Wei? King Yu, you promised you wouldn't abandon me. Have you gotten tired of the old and started chasing the new? Are you planning to be with Yao Wei? What are you talking about? Yao Wei and I have nothing going on. I'm asking you to move out because of what happened between us. What do you mean? I don't want us fighting over Boxiao again. I know you like him. You only got together with me because you had no other choice during that time. But now that he's back, go after him. Just don't let him disappear from your life again. After saying that, I closed my eyes. But Liu Ryan's reaction was explosive. What bastard started that rumor? I never fucking liked Boxiao. Say that again. King Yu, you can't slander me like this. I never liked him. Not then. Not now, and never will. But in high school, I saw your diary with my own eyes. It said he was the person you liked. Bullshit. I swear, if I ever liked him, then no one I liked in this life would ever like me back. Then who do you like? You. I know your heart has always belonged to you, Yao Wei. You hate me, but I've truly liked you all these years. King Yu, you can't do this to me. Don't be angry. Don't leave me and run overseas again, okay? I snuck out to see you so many times every week. It was exhausting. Can't you show me a little understanding? Wait, no. Hold on. During the time I was abroad, you often secretly came to see me. We'll set that aside for now. But where did you hear that I liked Yao Wei? Back in high school, Boxiao told me you had a crush on Yao Wei and had written her a love letter. Hearing that, I suddenly remembered. For a while, Liu Ryan had shown Yao Wei inexplicable hostility. So that's what happened. But my love letter wasn't written to her. How could that be? At that moment, I decided to confess my own feelings. Liu Ryan, the only love letter I ever wrote was for you. You wondered why I went abroad, didn't you? It was because you said you hated people giving you love letters. I didn't know whether you'd ever seen the letter I wrote you, but what you said made me furious. I never hated you. King Yu, I never saw a love letter you wrote me. I only saw the one you wrote to Yao Wei. Boxiao showed it to me. Hearing that, I rummaged through everything and found Liu Ryan's old diary, then turned to the page about her liking Boxiao. After looking at it, Liu Ryan seemed to remember something. She took out her phone and searched her old photo albums and found a picture of the love letter. We compared them and immediately found the source of the problem. This handwriting isn't mine, although it was a very close imitation. A closer look revealed the differences. I realized Boxiao had played both Liu Ryan and me. But then I thought better of it and still smacked Liu Ryan on the head. Then why? At the reunion, did you agree to go outside with him? I went out to warn him and told him to stop bothering you. Then, when I didn't come back for so long, couldn't you have at least checked on me? By the time I got away from Boxiao, you were already gone. I called you so many times, but you never answered. Hearing this, I finally checked and saw that I had exactly 108 missed calls. Now I was the one feeling guilty. Fine, I forgive you. Then, are you still kicking me out? I didn't know you disliked Yao Wei. I thought you hated me. King Yu, I love you. Can you give me another chance? Alright, I suppose I can give you a chance. You'd better behave. If you make me unhappy, I'll give you a good punch. I won't, never again. And just like that,